Hi again, this is Dr. Mark Eisen and Dr. Evan Gersh at our Riverdale Wellness Group. We'll now be performing the weeks 4 through 6 of our strengthening and rehab program of the lumbar spine. Always remember to include the warming up and the cooling down after performing these exercises. Let us begin with the first exercise. It is called, we're going to be loading, so it's dead bug with limb movements. This will challenge your ability to stabilize your core while moving your limbs further, improving the endurance and strength of your abdominal and pelvic muscles. So, you'll line your back, bring your knees and arms towards the ceiling. Maintain a 90-degree bend in your knees, hips, and shoulders. Knees, hips, and shoulders. Just like that. Maintain a 90-degree bend in your knees, hips, and shoulders. Create an abdominal brace and contract your pelvic floor muscles, maintaining this position throughout this exercise. While maintaining your abdominal brace, focusing on keeping your lower back on the floor. Slowly lower one leg down to the floor while at the same time raise the opposite arm above your head. Try and bring your hip and shoulder to a 45-degree angle to the floor. Continue your abdominal brace as you return your leg and arm to the starting position. Switch sides and repeat continuously, alternating limbs for 1 minute.
Now again, the goal with this is we're progressing through these exercises and they're going to become a little more complicated. So don't be shy about just starting very slow. You don't have to go all the way out yet. Build to it. So in other words, if I'm going to initiate this exercise, start slow at first. A little bit of movement. And if it helps also, do one at a time as I demonstrated previously. The leg first, jab slightly, and then bring the arm back, and then come back up.
Okay, we go on to the next exercise. We're going to load double leg bridge with march. This movement will further strengthen your back core while teaching your body to stabilize with movement. It will challenge your bridging ability by adding a one-leg support phase. The goal of this exercise, not to let your pelvis drop once you start marching. So, lay on your back with knees comfortably bent and feet on the ground. Raise your arms towards the ceiling, create an abdominal brace, contract your pelvic floor while lifting your toes to your shins and raise your pelvis from the ground. While maintaining your bridge and abdominal brace, ensure there's a straight leg between your knees, hips, and shoulders. Slowly lift one leg off the ground, bringing your knee to your arm. Focus on a smooth transition and not dropping your hip. Once you maintain the leg lift for a breath, slowly lower your leg and raise the opposite leg again, holding for a breath. Repeat with alternating legs for 1 minute. Focus on smooth, controlled movements and avoid tilting your hips.
And as I mentioned previously with the dead bug, as we're progressing this, you're going to become slightly harder. So again, don't be afraid to start with a slight movement first. Again, what we're doing is we're becoming aware of these different muscles that we probably haven't used before or we don't use very often. So don't be too concerned about going so far up yet, but first practice instead on just what it feels like to balance this position on one foot.
We move on to the next one, which is load side plank with clam. The focus of this exercise is to maintain a straight spine while improving the endurance and stability of your core. You will challenge your body to improve the stability of your core while learning how to move your hips without moving the rest of your body. Lay comfortably on your side with your elbow under your shoulder, your knees and feet stacked with your knees comfortably bent. Place your other hand on the side of your abdominals, performing an abdominal brace while contracting your pelvic floor. While maintaining your brace, press into the floor with your elbow and raise your hips off the ground until your body makes a straight line. Once you are in a side plank position, lift the top knee up off of the bottom knee while keeping your feet together during the movement. While maintaining the side plank position, raise and lower the knee to complete the exercise. Repeat for 30 seconds.
And just a reminder, and I'm going to show you at the beginning here, when I start this exercise, so I want my elbow to be just about under my shoulder when I raise up. Now again, in order to get that plank position into the proper position, think of it as 2 steps. First, raise up the hips, and then push forward. Doing that will make sure that you're initiating the correct muscles. Now once you're in this position and you feel stable, again, we're going to start with the clam. And as mentioned before, start slow. Feel what it's like to hold this position first, to have the stability, and then to slowly initiate the movement that you're trying to accomplish. Good.
We now move on to the next one, which is loading quadruped with limb movement. This movement will further challenge your ability to stabilize your core while increasing the coordination of your back, hip, and shoulder muscles. So take something flat like a DVD player. Begin in the quadruped position. Place the DVD cover on the small of your back to remind you about maintaining your stability and not twisting your hips or trunks. Maintain your abdominal brace and contract your pelvic floor throughout the entire exercise. Gently slide your right foot back, contracting your gluteal muscles and preventing hip twisting. When your right knee is fully straight, lift your foot off of the ground. Make sure your toes are pointed towards the ground and do not allow your ankle to come higher than your hip. At the same time, reach your opposite left arm out in front of you. So, once you've held your right leg and left arm steady off the ground for a few breaths, slowly return back into the quadruped position. Repeat alternating limbs for 1 minute. Remember to maintain your abdominal brace and try not to let the DVD fall off of your back.
And what can also be helpful, as we've been mentioning, is to do this in 2 steps and to start with slow movements. And as always, just make sure that you're keeping that abdominal bracing as these positions become slightly more challenging, requiring a little more coordination. It's easy to forget about the abdominal bracing, which is crucial to these exercises.
We now go on to the next exercise, which is low plank on the ground. We're going to load it. The plank on the ground will further challenge your abdominal muscles and improve the endurance of your core. Lay comfortably on your stomach with your elbows under your shoulders and your toes curled under your feet. Perform an abdominal brace and contract your pelvic floor. As you maintain your brace posture, contract your thigh and gluteal muscles, pushing into the ground with your forearms and feet. Hold this position as you push into the ground. Maintain a straight line from your ears, shoulders, hips to your ankles. Once you have held the plank position for about 10 seconds, breathe slowly, comfortably, slowly lower to the ground. Take a second to relax and begin again. Repeat for a total of 5 rounds of a 10-second hold each.
Now this exercise is also, it's easy to start losing the position, especially as we get a little bit tired as we're going through it. And it's easy to dip down like this or to start to come up this way. And that's where maybe putting a DVD or something like we mentioned with the quadruped is also helpful for this exercise to make sure that you're keeping the posture in the correct position.
We now go on to the next one. We're going to load mini band side walk, upright stance. This exercise will challenge your hip muscle strength and general balance while maintaining your upright braced position. Try and place the band around your feet. However, if it is too challenging, place around your ankles. Place the mini band around your feet and perform barefoot if possible. Start with a tall posture. Knees and hips slightly bent with tension in the mini band. Place your hands on either side of your abdominal region. Squeeze your shoulders back and down and perform an abdominal brace. While standing in your brace position, place your weight on one leg. While keeping your feet pointed forward with your shoulders and hips level to the ground, take a step to one side and then plant your foot on the floor. Slowly bring your other leg in a sidestepping manner without releasing tension in the miniband. After taking 3 steps in one direction, move in the opposite direction. Repeat this alternating 3-step pattern for 1 minute. If you want to increase resistance, you can do so by increasing the width of your stance.
As you can see with this one, I'm not using a miniband. I've actually taken a TheraBand and I've just tied a knot through it to make it a loop. Now, as you do this exercise, first of all, the amount of tension that you use is very important. You want to make sure that it's tight enough that you're going to start to feel a nice burn right in the side of the glutes here. But you also don't want it too loose that you're able to fly up this way and hike the hip. So that's why this becomes important too. You want to make sure that this is staying even the whole time. You want all the motion to come from the hips and not start hiking the hip up. This way and down. This way and down again.
We now move to the next exercise of loading reverse lunge. This is a great exercise to increase your balance as well as strength in your hips and leg muscles. We begin standing tall. With your feet hip width apart, perform a standing abdominal brace and keep your spine upright throughout the entire exercise. Step back with your right leg, placing your foot in line with your hips and keeping only your toes on the floor. As you get your sense of balance, begin lowering your body down by bending both knees and maintaining an upright posture. Keep an equal amount of pressure on both legs while lowering. Push into the floor with your front leg as you raise yourself back up to the starting position. Repeat by stepping back with your left leg. Continuously alternate legs for 1 minute. Ensure that your feet are always pointing forward and that your hips are squared.
Now what's helpful is before you start this exercise is also to figure out how far of a step back is comfortable for you to take. So in other words, you don't want it too short where you find yourself having to squeeze the knees and the hips together, but you don't want it so far back that you lose the integrity of the position.